Lunacy by Joe Fiore. It's madness.
Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy. I am your host, Joel Marshall. This is Lunch Therapy Interview Friday. Today we've got Trish King, who is an incredible musician from Maine. She's going to be playing some live songs. We're going to be playing some of her hits from YouTube. We're going to be finding out about her. So let's get into this thing. I have red on today because it was told to me by Trish, who tipped me off, that it is Wear Red Day for the American Heart Association. So if you don't have your red on, get your red on. Get the red out. Paige DePoe is here. I know Paige through Trish. It's great to see you here. Thanks for coming. Great set. Yeah, I love the set. We've been working hard on this set. Boney has been staying up all night with his overalls on, working on this thing. Let's get into this show. This show is called Lunch Therapy. It airs Tuesdays and Fridays at noon. You can join us on Tuesdays. You can even win a prize on Tuesdays. And on Fridays, we talk to amazing people. And today is no exception. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 Start off the show saying thank you. I have a comment on the bottom there. Thank you to the Patreons. Mike Knox, Todd Lee, Camila Lopez, Liz Lopez, Robert Lopez, Jay Patterson, my co-host on Tuesdays. New one, Ivy Palma. Thank you, Ivy Palma, for becoming a Patreon. Pam Palmieri, Neil Phillip, also known as Neil, Seth Word, Jason Edelman, and Mary Marks. And there's Ivy Palma again. I guess she gets to be on there twice because she's new. All right, so thanks everybody for Patreoning. This show is fueled by Patreons and fueled by hummingbirds. So let's get into this. Let's do some breathing, and we're gonna get Trish on the line. Always breathe at the beginning of the show, and Boney and Trish are in the green room right now breathing along with us. Boney's just faking it because he has no lungs. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it and let it go. I can hear Trish breathing in the green room with Boney. It's good when the guests breathe too. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Hoy, Camila. Hoy, Paige. We like to say hoy on the show instead of hi. I don't know why. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Healing Vibrations are backing me up here on the breathing. They have a YouTube channel, Healing Vibrations, and also Chakra Vibrations. They so graciously allow me to play their videos during the breathing. Looking good in that red hummingbird wear. Yep, I got Lunch Therapy t-shirts, lunch-therapy cultofthehummingbird.com. You can get your t-shirts. You can get red ones for the Heart Day. I don't know if we'll get there in time, but I'll get there in time for next year's Wear Red American Heart Association Day. I also want to say happy birthday to my oldest friend, Paul Barbano. He is of age today. I don't know what the age that is, but congratulations to Paul. Let's get into this. We're going to get Trish on the screen. This is going to be fun. Okay, so Trish is enigmatic. She has no bio on the internet, anywhere on the internet. She has scrubbed the internet of her biography so that we have to find out through questions and answers about her life, and that is why we do this show, because we want to find out about people. Trish, I discovered her early on in the worldwide global pandemic of 2020. Both of us had gone underground, hiding from the pandemic, but we were like, how the heck are we going to perform now? And I think probably she and I both said, how about the internet? Let's see how this internet thing works. Can I live stream? Can I perform in the similar fashion to the way I do on stage? And the answer was yes and no, I don't know. So what I did is I like at the end of the show to play a cover song of somebody on YouTube who is just killing it out there. And that's how I found Trish. I found her doing a cover of a Tom Waits song that I will play for you today. She is all the way in Maine, so we're talking, I don't know, is this kitty corner, catty corner? Would that be? I don't know. From one southern part of the United States all the way to the northern part on the other side of the country through the magic of the internet. All right, so here we go. Here I'm going to play her song, Tom Waits' Hold On, that first attracted me to become a huge fan of her live streaming show.
They hung a sign up in our town. If you live it up, you won't live it down. So she left Monterey, son, just like a bullet leaves a gun. And with her charcoal eyes and her Monroe hips, she went and took that California trip. Well, the moon was gold, her hair like the wind. She said, don't look back, just come on, Jim. Oh, you gotta hold on, hold on. Yeah, you gotta hold on. Take my hand, I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. Well, he gave her a dime store watch and a ring made from a spoon. Everyone's looking for someone to blame. If you share my bed, you share my name. Well, go ahead and call the cops. You don't meet nice girls in coffee shops. She said, baby, I still love you. Sometimes there's nothing left to do. Oh, you gotta hold on, hold on. Yeah, you gotta hold on. Take my hand, I'm standing right here. You gotta hold on. God bless your crooked little heart. St. Louis got the best of me. I miss your broken China voice. How I wish you still were here with me. Well, you build it up and wreck it down, and then you burn your mansion to the ground. When there's nothing left to keep you here, when you're falling behind in this big blue world. 10 below and falling by a 99-cent store. She closed her eyes and started swaying. Oh, but it's so hard to dance that way when it's cold and there's no music. Well, your old hometown's far away, but inside your head there's a record that's playing a song called Hold On, baby, you gotta hold on. Take my hand, standing right here, you gotta hold on. You gotta hold on, yeah, baby, you gotta hold on. Take my hand, I'm standing right here, you gotta hold on.
Beautiful. Trish.
Hello.
Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing okay.
Yeah?
Doing okay.
So where are you in Maine? Are you northern Maine?
It is northern Maine. It's called Acoustic County. It's the biggest county in Maine, and it's also, I believe, probably the most rural. I'm not sure because maybe the western part of Maine might be more rural, but it sure seems like it is when you have to drive 40 or 50 miles to a grocery store. So
Do you really have to drive that far to
yeah,
a grocery?
yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So you're out
There's
there.
little ones, there's small
Yeah.
stores, but not the big grocery chains that, so we have to go either I can go south about 35 miles or north 40 miles. So
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And you, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for what you've been doing. Like through the pandemic, your music was something that really helped me get through a lot of the just fear and horrible stuff that was going on and uncertainty. And I would put your music on, like you live stream, and I would put it on while I was at work. And there was a community there, and it was very, very helpful. And it also helpful to see someone like me out there working out the live stream and the conversations that we had, and how you are just a really loving, kind person and a great force for the good of humanity.
well, you're welcome, but thank you as well because you were there too. But quite frankly, I think all the people that were out there, I had to imagine people, like all I could picture were like eyes blinking, like, please sing something, do something, keep us busy.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it. But it was also on my own personal level. I needed to do something to keep my head from spinning off. So, it was a pretty weird time.
It was a weird time. Had you done live streaming before that?
I had just barely, I think it was the end of 2019, I had started doing trying, a few little songs here and there, nothing on a long-term basis. I mostly uploaded my music. So, I made sure I got it to a place I wanted it and then would upload it. Yeah. But this was a little different doing the live because you make a mistake, it's there. So I had to take it easy on myself because I would be like, I messed that up on those people. I go through a song and I couldn't go back and redo the song for them. Mm-hmm. They would get bored that way. But so I just learned to be real, like accepting that I'm human, I'm going to make mistakes type of thing. And I just love doing music and, just knowing that there were people out there listening wasn't so much even just the music, it was just the connection, Yeah. And I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, just knowing there were people out there.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, I like the live because you can't second guess anything. You just have to keep moving forward. And,
right.
That's can be a real plus because a lot of times we get so precious about things. Like you want to have like the perfect recording, perfect, everything. And maybe a lot of people just never even think that they're enough. So they never put
Right.
anything up. And I know as comedians,
I had
also,
to
we were
give that
so
up a
worried
long
about
time ago.
yeah. It's kind of freeing though, right? I mean, it's kind of freeing.
It is. It's like, well, take it or leave it. This is as good as it's going to get, and it could get a little bit worse.
Could get
but
worse.
Let's hope it doesn't.
Todd Lee says, I think you need a few more guitars, Trish. Is there a mandolin
Just
there?
a few more. Yeah, I have quite a few. I make a joke about it. Like if somebody is going to get me a Christmas present, do not buy me flowers, do not buy me jewelry, buy anything that's to do with music, even if it's just strings for my guitars, I'm happy.
Wow.
But I collect them just because they became my friends, so I even name them.
Really?
Yeah.
You name them?
I name them.
Cool.
Yep. The one
What's that
right
one?
here is Sybil.
Really?
And Sybil, do you remember the book that was written and they did a movie about it, about the woman with many personalities, multiple
Yes, Sybil,
personalities?
of course.
Yeah. That's that guitar.
Really?
It changes on a daily basis. So I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a good name for that one.
That's really cool. I actually interviewed the writer of the movie Sybil on
that is
my
awesome.
other podcast. Yeah, Stuart Stern. Look, Todd was anticipating that. Have you given each one of them names? That's so cool. So how did you get into music and is there a thriving music community in Maine?
Believe it or not,
Mm-hmm.
I make a living doing just music. Even up here in northern Maine, I have to travel a bit to
Mm-hmm.
do it, but I think that because there's not a lot to do up here. Unless I'm not a snow sledder in the winter, and so what I used to do was practice in the winter, and then I go gigging in the summer. But a lot of those places, if they stayed like open door in the winter, would keep me going throughout my winter months, just up here in the county. And the nearest town I'm close to is Millinocket, which is the entrance to Baxter State Park. And so there's a lot of summer stuff going on, but they also have been using me for winter in some of the areas that they have open. So I gotta say I'm thankful because it keeps me going and not as busy as my summertime, but people go out because they like to have something going on. And if you have the music going on, I will say I have found that I hate to say this, but like you either get a really good night or a night where people you almost feel like you're annoying them, the mouse in the corner, eating a cracker or something. It just depends on, where people are coming from, whether they're really into music or live music. I don't know if sometimes I just feel like, I don't know if I should just shut up and go home, but I found out sometimes those quieter people, they're just afraid of clapping. They don't know that they're supposed to interact with the person doing the music.
I think that's true. Yeah. I think sometimes people feel awkward about it. Like we had Mike Massey on the show, and he's kind of built his reputation on the internet. But he started out playing in a pizza joint, and he has all these. And that's where he did a version of Africa by Toto in this pizza joint, and it was so popular. I mean, it just blew up on the internet. But there are people walking back and forth in front of the camera, and people going to the bathroom and talking and all this stuff. And you just kind of have to persevere through that, I think.
It's taken me, I've been doing the out live gigs about close to 15 years. I'm going to say about the last 10, I got more serious with it. And it took me up to just probably right before the 2020 stuff we had going. I hate to even give it a name anymore, just the 2020 stuff. Yeah. But where I got comfortable in my own skin enough so that I realized that I'm not going to be everybody's, cup of tea. So, and it's the truth. It's what it is. So, there are times when it still will hit me because when I feel like I've really done a good job on a song, like I know I've worked really hard to do that song, and I think, they're gonna love this one, and it's like crickets. There are people looking everywhere else, but But on the other side of that, when they leave, they come up and tip me. And the quietest people will come up and, oh, that was beautiful. Loved your version of, whatever song it was I was doing.
Yeah, you don't know
So
sometimes how people are receiving things. Sometimes people just have resting angry face.
Yes,
I've had that where I've been in clubs and doing
Whoa.
comedy, and there's somebody sitting there just with the resting angry face, and I'm like, this person is I'm thinking in the back of my head, this person is hating this.
Exactly.
And then afterwards they come up and they're like, yeah, that was hilarious. You're like, really?
And I mean, and it's funny because you're like, when you're out doing that, there's a lot of, you can't just stop and say, are you upset with what I'm doing? You have to remain professional. And I've had people sit beside me and blast their phone with music they want to hear.
What?
I've had that happen. And, I won't mention, I'm not going to mention age groups or whatever, but it tends to be like, it's like, you're not doing their music. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I am really, I asked, I have a granddaughter who's almost 16. What do you guys like to listen to? And so she'll Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus. I'm like, okay. So I put those songs are on my tablet.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for any age group. And I'm not blaming teenagers here. I'm just saying it's all different age groups that this can happen.
Yeah.
I do request. I have over 5,000 songs on my tablet.
Oh my gosh.
And so if they want to hear a song and I know it and it's from a certain, it's easier to say, well, can you do a song by so-and-so instead of a particular song?
Yeah, yeah.
And I might have it.
How do you keep up to date on those things, though? Because you got to know the song pretty well. You can't just pull up something and just start playing it, right?
No, I can't.
You do?
I don't know how it happens.
You're kidding me.
If I have done a song, if I know a song and I've done it, I will be able to. I'm not saying it will be perfect.
Yeah.
But I'll be able to do it again.
Wow. And one thing I like about your renditions is you put your own stamp on it. Like I have a example of Comfortably Numb that you do, and it's your own. You
almost have to,
version.
don't you? Though
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be I can't be the person that did that song the way they did it. So I have to find something that feels good to me, so that I feel comfortable singing it. So I'm not comfortably numb at that point, but it's, and there are I'll have, I do a lot of Fleetwood Mac, and people will tell me I sound a lot like Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
And I love Stevie Nicks. I do, but I'll do her voice on purpose,
Yeah.
I also like Christine McVie, and I'll do her tonal stuff on purpose. So there are some songs I try to keep it pretty close to the original, just because I know people are looking for that. But
Yep.
I like messing with the songs.
There's a song called "The Ballad of the Devil's Backbone Tavern." Have you ever heard that one?
No.
It's this guy named Todd Snyder, and he sings about being the guy in the bar who plays in the corner and how people don't listen to him except for the bartender.
Oh boy, I'm going to have to listen.
It's a really good song. I'll have to send it to you or something.
Yeah,
like that.
send it, because if
really
I may even
fun.
do it out and dedicate it to
I think you might
us.
like it. He it's very funny, and he keeps talking about going to see Eddie Van Halen in the Eddie Van Halen band, because that's what everybody wants to hear is Van Halen. And he's like, he's all up on the top of his guitar. But anyway, you got to hear it. You got to hear it. It's fun. So do you have a song that you can play for us today?
I do. And I didn't know if I write my own, because I didn't know whether you would do, you could do cover songs on here. I'm sure you probably have already got that fixed, but I'm going to do an original. It's called Road of Circumstance.
Perfect.
I'm going to explain a little bit about the song, if that's okay.
Okay, great.
So this song happened when a friend of mine met somebody and ended up getting engaged and married. And she had vowed never again, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that she was just on the wrong road all the time. And that's how the song came to be. So we'll see if I can get it out.
I'm going to give you the stage here too. So.
There we go. there you were, just standing there. What'd you do to cause my stare? Oh, I follow you with my eyes. The attraction had me hypnotized. Did you know what you were doing? Ooh, ooh, ooh. You had me under love's spell. Wrap my heart around your finger. You captured my soul in yourself, in yourself. How this happened, life holds such mystery. Didn't mean to fall in love, you see, but circumstances beyond my control had me headed down a different road. Did you know what you were doing? Did you pave a new road for me? Well, I was traveling without directions, but then I let your love take the lead. Do, 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 do. Lost in confusion, looking for the sign. I get stuck in neutral. Well, it happens to us sometimes. Then you came along unexpectedly. You took my hand and show me how it should be. And now I know what you were doing. My circumstances are all in control. You gave me back some sense of direction, and you put me on the right road, oh, on the right road. And so there you were, just standing there. What'd you do to cause my stare? Why I follow you with my eyes. You know, now I think I'm hypnotized.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Do you what is your process for writing songs, and how did you learn how to write songs?
You know, I'm not sure I have learned yet, because all my songs are different. Like they're constructed differently. So I don't really have I don't really have a method. A lot of my songs happen in dreams. I'll wake up and I'll have to write stuff down, and then I use those lines and form a song based on what my dream was, you know. Or sometimes I'll be watching a movie and there's like a line in the you know, like whatever they're saying, even like a comedic line or something. I'm like, hey, that would be good in a song, but I don't use that line. I usually backwards it. I don't know if that.
What's
if
that
you know.
mean?
So I have a song called Destiny, and you know how it's miles to go before I sleep. I say miles to sleep before I go.
Oh, yeah.
But I am French, so I can do that, right?
Do that. Speaking of that, did you grow up in Maine, and did you start playing
Yes.
music on your own, or was there somebody that
So-
kind of mentored you?
On both sides of my family, there were musical people, I should say, like a lot of talent on both sides. My father's family, especially, there were two music teachers, another that sang way back in the early 50s in New York. I have no clue. I can't find any information out on her, other than she just sang her heart out all the time at different things. And it was said that her husband played in Carnegie Hall. So
Wow.
I can't find anything on it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was just a myth or not. But the whole family of my father's could play whatever instrument you put in their hand. So, and then on my mom's side, my grandmother played piano like all by ear, but beautiful.
Wow.
And my mom sang.
When we were growing up, there was no internet, obviously. How did you learn songs? Did you have a teacher? Did you take class, or what did you do?
I took 4 years when I was just little. I was about 6 or 7 years old, and took about 4 years of piano. So I kind of got a little bit of, I understand, like the chords and all that. But the reason my mom wanted me to take lessons is because nobody in the family had ever done that. They all played by ear on both sides. And as far as like for my father and my mother and stuff. Now my uncle and an aunt both taught piano, and they didn't live close enough to me, so they actually helped pay for the lessons. Well, I got to an age where I started liking boys and decided I didn't like music anymore. It was taking up too much of my time,
Yeah.
my social life, But so I didn't go back to it, and then I married right out of high school, had my daughter a few years after that, and just got busy raising a family. Well, by the time my kids got to high school, they kind of forget about you and go off with their friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to be the grandmother sitting at home baking cookies for them, because I'm terrible at that. So I'm gonna learn guitar, because I can't take a piano with me. So I'm
Really?
gonna learn guitar.
Wow.
So I basically am self-taught on, by knowing enough about a keyboard. I kind of understood what the chords were and how to do that on guitar. But it's taken me a long time. I'm not going to be anywhere near as good as I thought I was going to be. I was like, I'm going to master this. But I have friends that I've asked for help, and you're like, what was that chord? Can you show me how to play that? If I hear something I like, and they've helped me all the way through that way. I've gone on YouTube and taken lessons on there.
Of course, yeah. Do you collaborate with a lot of other people too?
I have a duo partner that we'll go out. He can play anything too. He's a lot like my father was. You put an instrument in his hand and he can play it. I don't know if he wants me to mention his name, so I'm not going to mention it. But
Is that a Mainer thing? Is that a Mainer thing to be like incognito? To be out there on stage, live streaming, doing all this stuff, but at the same time be like private.
But I'm hiding. Yeah. I think it's just more that we live in communities where we don't have a lot of people around here. So I'm sure you guys are, they're weird, but we just don't. I think it's like, and you don't want to seem like you're too boastful or too much about yourself or whatever it is. I was brought up to be very humble about things and not to think that I was better than anybody else. And certainly the only time you should be looking down on somebody is to pick them back up, kind of thing. But so I don't know if that's part of it.
So was it ever difficult for you to put yourself out there, put yourself on stage when you have such a feeling of like, I don't want to call attention to myself, and yet I'm going to sit up on the stage, I'm going to play songs for an hour, and you're going to sit there and listen to them. So there's a certain amount of like it seems like a juxtaposition.
It's what started me singing out in public, because I never did as a child or anything. I sang at home all the time. They couldn't shut me up. Mom told me I was born singing.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I was always had these little recorders and I would sing in, but to sing in front of people, never. No, I was too shy. So I was out with friends, and a good friend of mine's like, "Hey, you should get up and sing this song." We were at karaoke. Oh, no. I waited till everybody got drunk, and then I sang. I wasn't drunk. I just waited till everybody else was.
Yeah.
So when they, I'm like, they won't pay any attention to me. I'm just gonna get up there. I wanted to do this, and I just waited till the crowd was busy, and I get up and I sang "Landslide" and a song by Dido, which is "Thank You." And those two songs, and people are like, "I didn't know you sang." I'm like, "Me neither." Like, not publicly. And that's where it began, and then I started doing more songs and going out. And then I decided I wanted to run my own karaoke, because I wanted to be able to fix the sound, and, and I wanted other people to enjoy themselves and get up there and sing too. So I did that for about 6 years, all the while starting to learn guitar and stuff. But
Simultaneously.
yeah. So, but I wanted to play guitar because my goal in playing was to be able to sing and play, at the same time, and to change up songs, because you can't really do that with the karaoke tracks. You can't, you can't say, "I want to stop here and just say something." You can't do that. You can't
gotta
change
just
your
keep
rhythm.
rolling with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to be able to do that. And I also I've been writing poems since I was a child, and I wanted to turn them into music. So some of my songs come from my childhood.
Oh, that's really nice. I love the progression, the idea of doing karaoke and learning guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea that you wanted to make a living at it too at that time, or was it just evolving?
I didn't think I'd ever be able to. I had zero confidence in myself. And, I think what built my confidence is the karaoke, because I got more comfortable with just being able to sing my heart out without being judged, and because it was a fun thing.
Yeah.
And then when I realized, well, wait a minute, I want to do more with this, but I want to be able to do the music as well, because I got a certain way I want to do this song,
Yeah.
So I like being creative with music. So that was kind of my, that's what got me going on it, I guess. But
Love that. Now, how often do you stream? And and how long do you do it? And can you tell us about your internet?
So
portion of your performing?
I used to do 3 hours plus of streaming during COVID.
Yeah.
And geez, it seemed like every other day, because I was not okay. And
Yeah.
I'm sure nobody else was. It just was such a very strange feeling to just be, everything just had like a wet blanket put over it. And here we are. I couldn't go out and do my music. I couldn't, couldn't be around friends.
I remember you were really concerned because you were like making a living at performing in bars and different places.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden it was just cut off. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in 2018, I started doing a lot more with the live music and turned it into my profession. So it was my living. So by the time 2020 came around, we got all those gigs lined up that got thrown to the wayside. I lost all that, would have been revenue, it was gone.
Yeah.
But you get through those things, but you need people to get you through. We're human. That's part of what we do. And so knowing that there were people depending on me is what got me through,
Yeah.
and,
That's
so
great.
going back to I have been so busy since about 2022, 23, started gigging out on a constant basis. And so it's really hard for me to do live streams in between all that. I try to fit them in at least a couple times a month,
But it's also probably, I would think, really a great way for you to practice as well, right?
It is,
in tune.
yeah. And give me ideas for new music. A lot of times people say, "Hey, have you heard this song? Check it out." Or, well, it's just like with this song you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I love having that connection with people where they'll give me these ideas, and it's funny because sometimes it's a hit song out, people are like, oh, I didn't even know you knew anything by them, and I wouldn't have if it hadn't been for people giving me those ideas,
And when
to
people
get
give you
kinda
those ideas,
stuck.
do you go and like research, or how do you keep current on
I
all
just go
this?
listen. I
Yeah.
go listen, and I find if there's nothing on the internet that's been tabbed out, I will tab it out for myself to put on my tablet. And I might not be able to do it exact, but I will do it for, I guess, just enough so I'm happy with it that I don't feel like I've completely ruined their song,
Yeah,
But,
yeah. So you actually will do the tablature yourself.
yes, yes, yeah.
Interesting. You seem like a really hard worker. Are you? Would you consider yourself a hard worker, or are you just somebody that has a
When
lot of passion, or both?
I think what happened is there was a shift. It was the passion happened first to do music, and then all of a sudden it became work. And and so I had to, this past, like, going into getting through last year and going into this year, my brain is telling me I need to keep that rate level. Like, part of my work needs to still stay with the passion of it and not feel like it's work. But when it's like below zero here and the wind's whipping and it's telling you that it's like a -24 because of the wind chill factor, and you got to go out and do a gig, you're like, what am I doing this for? and, and
Yeah.
it's so it's like you kind of, so it is that's when it becomes work, I guess,
Yeah.
when it's really, and then, or if I catch like a cold or the flu, I don't have any sick pay. Nobody pays me sick time off.
That's
So
the
I'm like,
thing.
oh,
Yeah. Wow. That's so. Yes. So that's, I guess, one of the things that people like yourself have to get over is that point where it becomes work, and then you kind of
Yes.
got to get past it, and you got to find.
Yeah.
How do you find the passion in it? Is that from writing songs? Is it from discovering new songs? Is it from all those things?
I think, and this is what happens to me, if I hear a song, if it catches me, I want to learn it. If there was a part in that song that it's like, oh, I love how that, then I want to learn it.
Yeah.
And I'm all over the, like, genres. I don't really have a specific, I don't really have one specific genre that I listen to. People will tell me that I'm more folk music type stuff in my writing and stuff, but I've had people say that. They've called me like Americana, like the singer-songwriter styles of like the 70s stuff I've been accused of, which I love being accused of that because that was one of the best
Best times.
era,
Yeah.
really, that was that type of music. But I don't really have anything that I feel is I don't know, music to me, if it catches me, I love it. And so that's what makes me passionate. And then it makes me want to write more music, because I want to be able to, catch that essence of whatever it was in a song that, I'm not saying I copy a song, I'm saying like I'm
You're
like,
inspired.
if I'm having a bad day, I want somebody to be able to relate to that song in the same way when they're having a bad day or whatever,
Do you
Or good.
do you make albums? Do you cut albums?
No.
Yeah,
No,
I found
I
like
just,
one song on iTunes or whatever they call it now.
so I did that
yeah.
just for an experiment, and I have not put anything else out there because to do it alone, it's a lot of work, and and on the other side of it costs big, good size
Costs a lot of money,
amount
yeah.
of money to go and into a studio for that kind of time, and where I live, it's
I think it's so
it's
great
the
that you
outside travel.
that you have made your own path with this, and in a kind of a somewhat solitary way, and also you've just done it kind of one piece at a time, and it's amazing. I'm just so inspired by you. Can you are you going to play another song? I have some suggestions.
What's this? Go ahead, give me a suggestion.
I like this song "Shelter from Myself." You know that song?
Okay.
yours?
Yeah.
But did you have one in mind that you wanted to play?
No, I pretty much, I'm pretty used to just whatever song comes about.
Really?
So I will do that one for you.
All right. Can you
there's
set
a
it up
funny-
for us?
So this story in itself to this one is, I am pretty certain I need shelter for myself on a regular basis. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. You think you're and not, I mean, not like it's not just depression sometimes, like, because we live in the winter blahs here,
Yeah.
so people, it's, so you get a little bit down if you're not having you're not making enough vitamin D because the sun's decided to just disappear from your life for, months on end.
Yeah.
But this song kind of came about. I was driving home, and it was actually in the fall time, and I was like ba da da ba ba in my mind, and I'm like, oh, I think I want to do a song like that, and I'm like, oh God, Trish, you're never gonna get that song out of your head now, because I kept humming it. So
Yeah.
I took my phone as I'm driving, and you're not supposed to. Okay,
Yeah.
took
Don't
my
do
phone,
this
hit
at
the
home.
record button, looked up, and there was a raccoon about the size of Texas in front of me, and I'm like, that's a sign. See, I need shelter from myself. So anyway,
I love it.
so that's how. So I'll start this one for you, and we'll
Okay.
see if I
Sounds
can. And I wasn't sure, is my guitar loud enough?
It sounds great. I'm just,
Okay.
yeah, I love it.
Looking for a reason, but there's no guaranteeing. So I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Looking out at the horizon, mesmerized by how everything beyond it and just seems to stop. And it's so hard to see past my own shadow when thoughts are whirling round my head, bigger than a tornado, and keeping me from finding the pot of gold, like they say at the end of the rainbow. And I need someone to shelter me. Yes, I need someone to shelter me from myself. There's no need to walk a mile in my shoes, even if it was a path that you choose. Pseudo friends become your enemies. Your trust just becomes their ammunition. Like they say, no good deed goes unpunished. There's no need to know who's done this. Even the simplest wishes unfinished. Now there's no need to discuss this, 'cause I need someone to shelter me. Yeah, I need someone to shelter me, shelter me. Someone to shelter me from my own thoughts. Give me peace of mind when mine is lost. I know that it's a lot to ask, oh, it's so much to ask. Maybe somebody will take on the task and shelter me.
to shelter me from myself.
Beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
That is awesome. And to think it was inspired by a raccoon, which we're big at.
We're not going to give the raccoon that much credit.
What do you think about having your music in film and television? Isn't that a way people make money too, as musicians these days?
It's true, but I don't know enough about that stuff to even. I don't even know where to begin to do that. If somebody were to ask me what I wanted to do with the songs I've written, that would be what I'd want to do. I don't want to be the performer up on the stage in front of a bunch of like a lot of people, like in a stadium or anything like that. I like small venues. But if I were to do anything, I would love to have my music heard and maybe put somewhere in some movie or I don't care if they even need to use it in a comedy. That would be great.
Yeah. Where now? Should they find that on your YouTube channel? Where would people go if they wanted to buy one of your songs or use one of your songs in a movie or
so I just put them out there. I have copyrighted all the ones that are out. The ones that I'll do, I've copyrighted just because somebody warned me about it. I'm like, well, it's not like it's going to be that, but I was told you can do a catalog of them. I'm like, well, I just don't know how to do it. I don't, and to find anybody up here in Maine that knows that stuff, no.
Yeah. So
I don't know anybody that would do that. So
have you ever thought of now you probably don't have to do this, but have you ever thought, I'm going to move to New York, I'm going to move to Los Angeles or something like that and pursue my music?
No. But there's a reason for that.
You don't need to, I don't think.
Well, the reason for it is, first of all, so 2 years ago, I decided I was going to drive to Florida, and my friend Paige, she rode shotgun, and we drove all the way to Florida to do house concerts. And then I checked out venues and stuff. Well, I got so homesick, and the traffic, and I was like, my head was just whirling. The people were wonderful to us down there, but I just got so homesick from living up here in the middle of nowhere where there's no stoplights for miles on end, and you don't have to worry about crazy drive. Well, there are crazy drivers, so you do have to worry about it, but not as often.
What is a house concert?
So a house concert, basically, people have started doing a lot of these because they make their home a listening room, and they invite their friends, and they have seating specifically for listening. They'll place chairs like in a small little kind of, I hate to use the like a church, but you know what I mean? And then they'll have like a little break in between where they'll have food and stuff or whatever. But that's what the house concerts are. A lot of people are doing that. Or they'll have them out in their backyard and have people just come up and do, a couple hours of music. They're not looking, it's not like when you sit in a restaurant and then the person's there for 3 hours and people come and go. They actually are there to listen. And so that was what that's what I wanted to do. But then I'm like, if I could have somebody drive me through this craziness, I could do it. I could do it. I just can't be the driver and the person that sets up all the stuff. And, I don't.
Well, it's almost like you've kind of solved the problem. By first
through
of all,
the internet.
Through the internet, yeah. So you can get your music out to the world. And then also you're in a place where maybe there aren't as many musicians and there's a lot of need. So it seems like actually a much better situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm grateful to the venues that hire out for live music around here because, they depend on their patrons as well. So it's kind of everybody's kind of working for each other, and, I enjoy it. I have wanted to travel doing my music. I just don't know how to set it up to do that because I don't want to be in big settings. I want little, small, intimate settings. And it's just kind of, how do you find those if people don't know you,
Yeah. Well, you're building an audience, building a community online as well. I'd say it's very inspirational, and also to a lot of people out there that might feel like they're out of the game. They're maybe actually more in the game than other people are, because they've got audience around them, and they've got
Right, that's true.
and there's so many different things. Was it difficult for you when you started streaming? Have you built up this skill over the years, or how did you start? Because for me, it was like, what am I doing?
I started with just my phone.
Did you?
Just my phone. No mic, just the mic on my phone, and I got a little stand that I made for it, and with duct tape, and and I sat in front of it like that. But and then I'm like, oh, this isn't. I don't like the sound. Because it's taking in everything around you, and I'm like, no, I want my sound to be more prominent, more depth to it. So I started looking into different things. Well, and then that's when everything started shutting down. So I'm like, I'm going to order this, and this. And I ordered a bunch of stuff, not knowing what I was doing. Mm-hmm. My laptop wouldn't handle it. So I ordered it's a gamer's computer.
Yeah, you kind of have to have something like that.
You do, because and then my internet here was terrible. And
how did you get good internet out there? I guess they have it, huh?
So I was on it was like a 3-month waiting list for internet, because it was like dial up here. The old dial up, but that's what it was like. It was terrible. Yeah.
Really? So
yeah.
And you're on a 3-month waiting list, and then you got something. Obviously, you've got a really good connection now.
So this one is probably the best internet I've had. It does, if we get storms or wind and stuff, it might be a bad night. But for the most part, once I got this internet, it just all kind of came together, and that happened. So that was in the summer of 2020, going into August actually, and. They're like, oh, don't be, got to keep 6 feet from him when he's in your house putting the stuff, and make sure, everybody was wearing masks and everything. And I'm like, it just is insane. And then, people would leave and you go spray in the air. I was like, because none of us knew, we didn't know
we
what
all
was
like
out
washing
there.
our hands after we get packages and all that stuff. I know, it was really crazy. And I also had internet problems in the beginning too, and it was so frustrating. Even though I'm in the middle of LA.
Did it cause like wicked lag? And
it was like jumpy. I mean, if you go back and watch like the very beginning of Lunch Therapy, I sometimes get cut off, but also very jumpy and laggy, and I was like screaming, Spectrum. I think I had Spectrum internet, and it's because in Los Angeles everybody came home and they were kind of sharing bandwidth, and so everybody was sucking up each other's bandwidth. Yeah. And also the infrastructure, because it was one of the first places that got high-speed internet, the infrastructure was old.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So what do you we're at the end of the show, unfortunately. Do you want to play us out in the dance break? I'll give you the stage again, and we could do that.
That's up to you. Okay. Sure. You want me to just start a song and we'll fade out?
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to play a cover song? Do you want to play one of your songs?
I'll just go with I'll just go with "Dreams" by Stevie Nicks.
I was hoping you'd say some Stevie Nicks. That's great.
Yeah, we'll do that one.
Okay,
and then you can fade us out. But thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being on the show. It's so great to finally
say hello to California for me.
Well, you're saying hello right now. Howard says, there's Howard. Howard, he's here in California. He's so talented. Thank you, Trish. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, well,
and you can catch Trish. It's at Trish King Music on Instagram. Sorry. Is it
all of my stuff is Trish King Music. So whatever site you're on, if I'm on there, you'll find it by just looking for Trish King Music.
Great.
I kept it simple.
That's smart. It's really smart. All right. I'm going to play the dance break bumper, and then you take it from there. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Please pass the show around. This is just a gift. Thanks so much, Trish.
Now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel. But listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad. In the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost, and what you had and what you lost. 'Cause thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. I say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know